Hello, good morning students. We have completed the chapter 1 and chapter 2 of class 12, right? The chapter 1 was electric field and Coulomb's law. The chapter 2 was electric potential and capacitance. So today in this week we will start with the next chapter, chapter number 3, current electricity. Okay? Now, let's start with the chapter. Open the PDF which I have given you. Okay, the PDF named as Current Electricity Part 1. Chapter 3, Current Electricity Part 1. Open that PDF and go to page number 1. Okay, first we need to understand what are current carriers, like because of which particles a current flows in a particular substance. किसी सब्सटेंस में करंट फ्लो का रीजन क्या है, कौन से पार्टिकल्स फ्लो करने के कारण करंट होता है, current flow होता है in a particular substance. If as a substance, what does that mean? That means conductor, insulator, electrolyte, gases, semiconductor. These are what different types of substances I'm dealing with. Okay. Now see. So that is current carrier. The first topic is current carrier. So you have to remember only the current carrier, the names. Like for example, for a conductor, what are current carriers? Free electrons. Okay. In case of insulator, there is no current carrier. Okay, you can see the PDF nicely. Then in case of a semiconductor, electrons and holes, free electrons and holes. In case of a electrolyte, it's positive and negative ions. Okay, in case of a gas, it is electrons and positive ions. So these are the few current carriers, also called as charge carriers. Because of these charged particles, current flows in those substances. Like how the question will come, which particle leads to the current flow in electrolyte? We will say positive and negative ions. Okay. Understood? Which particles allow the current to flow through semiconductors? Electrons and holes. Now, holes is something which you didn't study till now. We will study at the end, like approximately in the month of October approximately. We will study that chapter, semiconductor. From there you will understand holes. For the time being, you just remember holes is nothing but it is considered as a positive charge. It is not a positive charge, but it's considered as a positive charge. Okay. So, understood current carriers. Now, let's go to the next topic, theoretical view of current. Theoretically, what is actually a current? Now something I will discuss now which is there in the class 10. We know, basically we consider current is a flow of charge. Or flow of electron is called as current. Okay. Now, if we take any conductor, this is a conductor for example, okay. Inside any conductor, the electrons are moving randomly with some thermal velocities. Moving randomly means what? All in different directions with some thermal velocities. Now what is thermal velocities? The velocities at room temperature is known as thermal velocity. Okay. For example, this electron is moving with velocity u1, this is moving with velocity u2, this is u3, this is u4. Okay, understood? Now these thermal velocities are in the order of 10 to the power 6 meter per second. Everything is there in the notes, so don't worry about it. Okay. So what you understand, if you take any conductor, for example this pen, if this pen, this is a plastic, actually it is a plastic, but if it's a metal, for example, if it's a metal, then inside this pen, the electrons are traveling in all directions with some velocities at room temperature known as thermal velocities. Thermal velocities. Its value is 10 to the power 6 meter per second. Okay. Now, we understand that inside the electrons are moving. So, if the electrons are moving inside, that means we can say current flow. That means if I touch this pen now, which is made up of metal, I should feel electric shock. But do we feel shock? If you take a simple piece of wire, okay, and touch it. Simple piece of wire is also a conductor. Inside there the electrons are randomly flowing in all direction. But if you touch that wire, do you feel shock, electric shock? No. So that you need to justify why. Okay, this is the first question, conceptual question. Why we don't feel electric shock when we touch a simple piece of wire, though the electrons inside it are flowing randomly in all directions. Okay. So what is the reason? The reason is that electrons are flowing randomly in all directions such that the average velocity, if I do the average of all of them, for example, let's take them as vectors. Now why vectors? Because they are in different directions. So what is the average? Average will be what? U1 vector plus U2 vector dot dot Un vector. If I say n electrons are there, divided by number of electrons is equals to, this will be always a zero vector. So they are randomly moving in all directions such that the average velocity becomes zero. So if the average velocity becomes zero, that means there is no net flow. Okay, hence there is no flow of charges, so we do not get any electric shock. Okay, moreover, now a very important part, current flow is not flow of charges, flow of electrons. It is organized flow of electrons. This is not an organized flow. They are flowing randomly in all directions. Okay, so it is not an organized flow. Now, if we touch any wire, now if that wire, I put it inside an electric socket. You know what is a socket? This sort of three holes are there. If the wires, I put it here. Now if I touch the wire, I will feel electric shock. Why? That also you need to understand. So what I'm doing, initially I was having a simple piece of a wire. There the electrons are randomly flowing in all directions, such that the average flow becomes zero, else there is no electric shock. When I connect this conductor with a source, so what is source? Source is nothing but a potential difference. Potential difference. Now what will happen? All the electrons inside the conductor, which were randomly flowing earlier, now they will have an organized flow. All the electrons will travel towards the positive charge. So electrons will now travel towards the positive charge. Okay. Now since all the electrons are randomly flowing, earlier it was randomly flowing in all directions, now it is organizing flow. This is called as current. This is called current flow. Okay. So current flow is the organized flow of electrons. Now. Okay. So when we connect it with the source, all the electrons start moving in a direction, okay, opposite to direction of electric field. Now why opposite to direction of electric field? See, this is plus, this is minus. Then electric field will be in this direction, plus to minus. The electrons are moving opposite direction. This is called current flow. Now earlier scientists, physicists, they discovered more new things. What are those? First they discovered that the electrons are moving opposite to electric field. Then they have considered the protons are moving towards the direction of electric field. So now theoretical definition of current changes. Earlier, सबसे पहले था current is flow of charges, flow of electrons, which was wrong. It was organized flow of electrons. Now current is organized flow of electrons and protons simultaneously. Electrons opposite to direction of electric field, protons in the direction of electric field. Okay, so that's why current, theoretically, current is a organized flow of charges where both electrons and protons are randomly flowing. It's not randomly, simultaneously flowing. Okay, so finally we understood what is current. Theoretically, current is the organized flow of charges which occur only if we supply some potential difference, if we connect with some source. Otherwise, there is no organized flow of charges. Okay, understood the theoretical view of the current. Okay, now comes to mathematical view. How we can calculate that current value? Whatever the current is flowing through this conductor, how we can calculate? So calculation of current is very simple. See, for example, this is a conductor. Okay, this is a conductor which is connected to a source. Now what is, listen very carefully. Huh? You fix a cross section of the conductor. Well, this is the cross section I have fixed. Okay, fix a time interval. For example, I am fixing the time interval as 2 seconds. Okay, now you see in 2 seconds how many electrons are traveling. For example, 3 electrons are traveling across the cross section in 2 seconds. Okay, okay, okay. Now see, again I am repeating. Take a conductor, fix a particular cross section and fix a time interval. This time interval you can fix anything, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. In that time interval, see how many electrons are traveling or crossing that cross section. Then what is current? We have considered 3 electrons. How many charge it is? 3. Each electron has a charge of E 1.6 10⁻⁻⁹ coulomb. So how many total charge? 3 by total time 2 seconds. So this is the current. Okay, where you can substitute the E value 1.6. Okay, so this is current. So mathematically current is Q by T. Now you have to understand what is Q and what is T. Q is the amount of current flowing through any cross section of a conductor in time T. Okay, this is written in the notes. Amount of current flowing through any cross section of a conductor in time T. So I equals to Q by T. So mathematically current value is Q by T. So what is SI unit? Coulomb. Charge is coulomb. Time is second. Coulomb per second or ampere. Now this type of current is called static current. Now why static current? Listen very carefully here. Also called as constant current. What is happening? 3E by 2 you will get after some calculation, you will get some value. Now what do? You increase the time. For example, I am keeping it at 4 seconds. Then again you will see some amount of electrons are there. Okay. Again you substitute that value. Again you will calculate the current value. These two current values will be same. That is constant current, static current. Okay. It is independent of what is the time interval I am taking. Okay. Constant current is flowing to the conductor. Okay. You take any time interval, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. When you start calculating the current value, it will remain same. That is Q by T. But there is something called as dynamic current. Okay. Where the current value is changing from time to time. It is not constant. Dynamic is what? Changing. Current value is changing in a conductor from time to time. Okay. You have to understand these things only numerically. Now, what is dynamic current? In static current, Q we need to calculate how in a particular time period how many charges passing through a cross section. But in case of a dynamic current, the expression of Q will be given in terms of T. Q equals to F of T. F of T मतलब क्या? ऐसा लिखा होगा Q equals to T square plus 2T, for example. इसका मतलब क्या? If you substitute different values of T, you will get different values of Q. In these numericals, where the charge is given in terms of T, then the current will be dynamic current. How to find differentiation of charge with respect to T? Okay? Understood? How to get dynamic current and how to get static current? Okay. Now, direction of current. Let's discuss about direction of current. Okay. Now see. This is a conductor connected with a source. Plus, minus. And then this is the electric field. And the electrons are traveling in this direction towards positive and the protons towards negative. Okay. Now, there are two directions we have to deal with. One is called as conventional direction. Now, what is conventional direction? Conventional direction means the direction which we show in the figure in an electrical circuit. We show the direction of current. That direction of current which we will work with, which we will show in the circuit diagrams, is called as conventional. By convention, we got this. Okay. So that is always from positive to negative. So what is this? This is the direction of conventional current. You start with the positive point of the source and go to the negative point of the source. Okay. That means it is the direction of proton. Same direction of proton. So this is called conventional direction. The next is called as electronic current. Now what is electronic current? Okay. The current which flows due to electrons. Now see, electrons are going in this direction. So this is the electronic current direction. So electronic current direction, which we hardly show in any conceptual question, or it doesn't have any use. We are just studying like electrons are flowing in a particular direction. That current direction is called electronic direction, which we don't use. We are interested in conventional direction. So you have to remember conventional direction is what? So positive source to negative source, and it is also the direction of proton. बस ये दो चीज याद रखना है. Okay, it is also the direction of proton. Now, types of current. The current are basically two different types. One is called DC, direct current, and this is called AC, alternating current. You have to remember the main difference between these two. What is DC and what is AC? Direct current and alternating current. In both the cases, the magnitude may change, may be constant, no issue. Magnitude के साथ कोई one misconception we have regarding DC. In small classes 7, 8, 9 we studied direct current are those current whose magnitude is constant. But it's not like that. Direct current whose magnitude may change. Okay. What will not change in direct current is the polarity will not change ever. But in alternating current, the polarity reverses periodically. Now see, let's study in terms of graph. This is a direct current, Y. This is a direct current. See, this is the current axis, this is the time axis. The current axis, the current is in this way. What does that mean? With different times, the current value same. So this is static DC. That means constant DC. Okay, but this line is not going to negative y-axis. Negative तरफ नहीं जा रहा है. इसका मतलब the polarity of the current is not changing. Okay, but if you go to this curve, here also magnitude is changing. See, magnitude of current is changing at every instant. But does it go into negative terminal? No. Negative y-axis तरफ जा रहा है? नहीं जा रहा है. इसका मतलब polarity is not changing. That means this is also a DC. So in DC the polarity will not change. Only that thing is constant. That thing is definite. Polarity will not change. Then that current is DC. Whether the magnitude is changing or not, I'm least bothered about it. Okay? This is called variable DC. Now why variable DC? Because the magnitude is changing. In AC what is happening? This is called AC. Or this is called AC. We have a whole chapter AC in our syllabus. अच्छे से पढ़ेंगे तो अभी से ये देखो, इसमें देखो polarity is changing. Positive current direction एक बार positive एक बार negative. Here also current is positive, negative. As well as magnitude is changing from 0 to max, max to 0. 0 current direction. This is current 0 to max. Then again from here to here, max to 0. Okay. So this is the difference between AC and DC. Now, next we will understand a very important question in boards, whether the current is AC or DC. Okay, we understand whether it's AC or DC. Next, whether the current, we also understand current has a direction. Okay, so whether, now my question is, current is a scalar quantity or a vector quantity? So, current has a direction, we studied here, right? Current has a direction. The current direction is, which conventional direction we consider as current direction? So, current flows from positive terminal of the source to the negative terminal of the source, right? So, since current has a direction, current must be a vector quantity. But it's quite interesting that current is a scalar quantity. Okay, it's a very important question. Current is a scalar quantity. Now, there are 2 points which justify current is a scalar quantity. Okay, now the first point, the arrow which we show to show the direction of current is actually not direction of current, it is direction of charge flow. This is one justification. Okay. Now, foremost important point, this is not the actual reason for current is a scalar quantity. Okay, the actual reason is that when we calculate currents, we don't use vector additions, we use scalar additions. What I mean to say, see here, if I say we have a 20 Newton force here and 30 Newton force here, can we add this force 20 and 30? No. Why we cannot add? Because they are in different directions and these are vector quantities, na? We cannot say ये दोनों मिलके यहाँ पे 50 न्यूटन आएगा, तो गलत है ना? ऐसा फिजिक्स तो नहीं पढ़ा हमने क्योंकि फोर्स स्केलर क्वांटिटी है. But when we see current in real life, if the 2 ampere current is coming from here and 3 ampere current is coming from here, then at this end we have 5 ampere current. That means current is adding, and it is adding with simple algebra. We are not using any vector addition. So see, the directions of current are different, but we can add them directly. That means vector algebra we are not using. We are not using vector concept here to add the currents. We are using simple algebra. Simply add kar raha hu. This is the solid reason why current is a scalar quantity. Okay. Now comes to next topic, drift velocity. Now this topic is very important class. So try to understand it very nicely. You will face questions, maybe a conceptual problem or maybe a whole derivation. Okay. all are important from this topic. Now, what is drift velocity? Now see, this is a conductor. What I have studied earlier, if there is no source connected, the electrons are randomly moving like this, right? For example, this is the electron, this is moving this direction. These are randomly moving. They are moving with which velocities? Thermal velocities, u1, u2. For example, this has a thermal velocity u1 vector, this has a thermal velocity u2 vector. Why I am dealing with vector? Why not only scalar? Because they are in different directions. Now we cannot add them. If you write u1 plus u2, this is wrong. Velocities are vector quantities. They are in different directions. Moreover, I don't know. Can I see which electron is moving in which direction? Can I see some atomic particles? We cannot see. So just for the simplicity, just for the sake of not doing anything wrong, we are taking it as a vector quantity. Whichever direction they are, we can write in vector additions. Okay, so that's why in this whole derivation also I will use always vectors, because we don't know the directions of individual electrons' velocities. Okay, class? Okay, now see, this is the conductor initially without any source. Now, as soon as I apply some source, some potential difference across the conductor, what will happen? When they apply this potential difference, we are indirectly applying electric field. Okay, due to this electric field, these electrons will experience some force QE. Q is charge of electron into E. Clear? Due to this force, where this force will apply? In this direction. In this direction, electrons will attract towards positive. So this force which every electron is experiencing is due to the electric field we apply. That is the potential difference we apply, right? Due to this force, what happens? These electrons are moving in this direction. They drift opposite to direction of electric field. Opposite to direction of electric field. They drift towards the positive terminal. Towards the positive terminal or opposite to direction of electric field. Okay? Understood? Clear? So after drifting, they acquire a particular velocity. That is called as drift velocity, Vv. Okay, so what is drift velocity? Drift velocity is the velocity acquired by the electrons after the applied with electrons opposite to direction of electric field on the application of electric field. Okay, if you apply some electric field, the electrons will acquire some velocity opposite to direction of electric field. Those velocities are called as drift velocities. Now, this is the overall definition, but this definition is not written in the definition or in the notes. Listen carefully. Can we work with each electrons? No, we cannot work with. We cannot study each electron altogether. One electron we cannot study. It's not possible. Why? It is a subatomic particles. We don't know its velocity. We work with the average of all the velocities. Okay, average of all the electrons. So now, what is drift velocity? The average, for example, V1, this is V2. Every electrons will start moving with different velocities, V1, V2, V3. This V1, V2, V3 are drift velocities, individual electrons. But according to theoretically, this V1, V2 are not drift velocity. These velocities, the velocities which the electrons acquire after application of electric field, if I do the average of all those velocities which they acquire, okay, then the average is called as drift velocity. Okay, that the definition is given in your notes, that the average velocity, okay, or the average of all the velocities acquired by the electron, okay, on application of the electric field. Understood? So, clear what is happening? So, I will go this only this way, here also while doing the derivation. Okay, we'll see what we'll do. We'll first take the electrons moving with some thermal velocities, U1, U2, U3. Then we apply some electric field. On the application of electric field, what will happen? They will experience some force. This force will convert into acceleration, ma. Okay, this is a general overview of the whole derivation. This you need to understand nicely. First, we'll take all the electrons moving with some thermal velocities, U1, U2 like this. Okay, then we apply some potential difference, some electric field. When we apply some electric field, force experienced by each electron. This force experienced by each electron will convert into acceleration. Okay, so now we know the initial velocity, we know acceleration, so we can use to calculate the final velocity of the electrons. V equals to U plus AT. We use this formula and we'll get the final velocities of all the electrons. Okay, after getting the final velocities of all the electrons, if we do the average of all the velocities, that is called Wick velocity. Okay, so let's do the numerical now. Not numerical, sorry. Let's do the derivation. Okay. Okay, let's do the derivation now. So I'm considering a conductor which has n electrons. Inside a conductor, there are n number of electrons. Each electron has some thermal velocities, u1 vector, u2 vector, u3 vector, dot dot dot, un vector. Okay, why we need to take vectors? I told you because all our directions different. But no, these are thermal velocities. We know if I do the average of all the thermal velocities, u average of all the thermal velocities. What is average? Addition of all the velocities divided by number of terms, number of electrons, and will be equal to 0 vector. 0 मत लिख देना, 0 vector लिखना है, ठीक है? Okay, now what I am doing, I am applying some electric field E vector across the conductor. Across the conductor, I am applying some electric field. Due to this electric field, each electrons will experience some force F vector. Normally, how we write F? F we write E into E. Now, when we write a vector part, we have to put a minus sign also. Okay, we have to put the sign there only. Okay, ये समझ लो अच्छे से हाँ. When we put vectors, we have to put the charge E है ना, E is formula, especially in this formula. Okay, and when you go to the next chapter, magnetic effect of current, there also you will understand. Okay, whenever I deal with vectors, okay, we put the charge sign here. I'm not talking about Coulomb's law. I'm not talking about electric field expression. Okay, I'm talking about only this expression F equals to E. Where we have to put a minus sign here. Okay, why minus sign? Because it shows direction. That the force is opposite to electric field. Whatever the electron will flow, it will be opposite to electric field. Na? If I put a plus here, put a minus here, electric field is this direction, force is in opposite direction. Okay, that shows this minus sign. So F vector equals to minus small e. What is E? Charge of electron into E vector. Okay, and that force will convert into acceleration of the electron m into A vector. Mass is not a vector quantity. So m के ऊपर vector नहीं है. E is not a vector quantity. Small e is a charge. From there we got the acceleration of electrons. A vector equals to E tau E by m. Now see, all the acceleration of electrons will remain same. इसलिए मैंने m a लिखा है, m a1 नहीं लिखा है. क्यों? See, acceleration depends on what? Charge and all. E, all the electrons charge is same. All the electrons will experience same electric field. All the electrons will have same mass. That means all the electrons will have same acceleration. Understood? Okay. Now, due to this acceleration, what happens to these electrons? They drift in opposite direction of electric field. Okay, with certain velocities. So let's calculate each and every velocities. Now see, let's go to class 11. थोड़ा बहुत class 11 में जाना पड़ेगा. U, V. When the body is going from here to here, U is the initial velocity, V is the final velocity, and A is the acceleration, uniform acceleration. Okay, and T is the time from here to here. T is the time for which this acceleration was acting. So then we use V equals to U plus AT. Now listen very carefully. Huh? V is the final velocity, U is the initial velocity, A is the acceleration from U to V. A is the acceleration जब तक यहां से यहां तक काम कर रहा था. T क्या है? कितने टाइम के लिए वो एक्सलेशन काम कर रहा था, यहां से यहां तक के लिए काम कर रहा था, वो वाला टाइम यहां पे है. ओके, T is the time for which this acceleration A is acting, right? Up, we will come across a new word named as relaxation time. Now this is called tau. Okay, ऐसे लिखते हैं tau. Torque, you know, it is relaxation time. Now what is relaxation time? Inside the conductor, the electrons are randomly moving in all directions. So what will happen? They will collide with each other. They may collide with the crystal lattice, the walls of the conductor. Okay. So between two different collisions, ये जो collision हो रहा है, एक collision हुआ, फिर थोड़ी देर बाद दूसरा collision हुआ. So दो collision के बीच में जो electron move कर रहा है ना freely. Okay, that is called relaxation time. जिसपे वो the time when it is relaxed condition. It is not under any collision. It is freely moving. That is called as relaxation time. So whatever this acceleration acting, this acceleration acting because of what? Electric field. Because of electric field, the electrons experience force, and because of that, the electrons gain some acceleration. This acceleration will act in that relaxation time, जब वो free move कर रहा है. When it is colliding, some other forces are also acting, na? Okay, so this acceleration is acting only for relaxation time. So I am saying tau 1, tau 2, tau 3 are the relaxation times individually of all the electrons. Okay, then V1, the velocity acquired by electron 1 due to this electric field, due to this acceleration, क्या होगा? V equals to E plus AT. V1 equals to उस इलेक्ट्रॉन का इनिशियल वेलोसिटी u1 था प्लस a वेक्टर, same for all the electrons, into tau 1. Because this electron, the electron 1 will experience this acceleration for the time interval when it was moving freely. So only that much time it is that electron is experiencing this acceleration. Okay, understood? Similarly, electron 2 का final velocity क्या होगा? Electron 2 का initial velocity plus what is the acceleration acting? A vector into how much time that electron 2 is moving freely. For that time this acceleration is moving. So the electron is moving freely in the relaxation time, okay, of electron 2, tau 2. In this way, the nth electron we can calculate. So what are these? These are the velocities acquired by the electron after application of electric field, or the velocity by which the electrons were drifted, okay, are drifted opposite direction of electric field. Now, according to definition, if you do the average of all the velocities, we'll get drift velocity. So therefore, what is drift velocity? Average of all the velocities acquired by the electrons. So v1 vector plus dot dot vn vector whole divided by n. Okay, number of electrons. Understand? Now we substitute the value of vn. See, if you add these two, if you add this one, u1 plus u2 plus u3, u1 vector plus u2 vector dot dot un vector plus a vector are common, a vector common. So what is left with? Tau 1 plus tau 2 plus tau 3 tau 1. Okay, whole divided by n. Now we segregate the n यहाँ पे, n यहाँ पे. Now what is this? This is average thermal velocity. We know average thermal velocity is zero vector. Okay. Now, then what is this? What I have told you while discussing the definition. What is drift velocity? I'm sorry यार, this phone ना है, phone हमारे पास नहीं होना चाहिए आज के दुनिया में, कोई फायदा नहीं है. Sorry for the disturbance. Sorry. What I told you initially when we were discussing the definition, velocity. What is drift velocity? It is a velocity by which, okay, the electrons are drifted. That means this should be the velocities. But we cannot work with individual electrons. So what we do? In overall, we do the average of all the velocities, right? Similarly, can you work with individual relaxation time of the electrons? Can you calculate individual relaxation times? No, we cannot calculate. So what we do? We take the average of all the electrons. That is called tau. So tau is the average relaxation time, and we need to work out this one. Okay, average relaxation time. So from there, finally we get an expression. Drift velocity is equals to a vector into tau. What is a vector? Minus e vector and tau. So this is the expression of drift velocity. Okay, so what was now you understood? It is the average of all the relaxation times of the electrons. Now see, here we got a minus sign. What this minus sign show? See, forget about e, forget about tau. Vd vector is proportional to minus e vector. These are two vectors with a minus sign. That means these two vectors are opposite in direction. Yes, they are opposite. See, electric field is in this direction, Vd is in this direction. So they are opposite to each other. Okay, so negative signs signify only they are opposite to each other. Okay. Now there are few notes are written. Now see nicely. Let's discuss about those notes. First, you understand the negative sign. Next, in numericals, if you want to use drift velocity, we will use this formula: E tau by m. Simply, don't use vectors, nothing. E charge of electron, electric field, tau relaxation time by m. Okay, we will use this formula in numericals. Now, in this, try to understand this tau. What is this tau? This tau is relaxation time. Okay. Now relaxation time means what? Time between two successive collisions. एक collision हुआ, थोड़ा देर चला, उसका दूसरा collision हुआ. So दो collision के बीच का जो free time है, that is called relaxation time. Okay. You have to think on your own what will happen to the relaxation time when I increase the temperature of a conductor. तो रट्टा मत मानना, एकदम सिंपल बेसिक से उसको याद रखो. हाँ. Okay, when we give some temperature to the conductor, what will happen? Okay, the electrons will gain energy, na? Gain some kinetic energy. Temperature दे रहा हूँ, heat दे रहा हूँ, electrons में energy आ जाएगी, kinetic energy आ जाएगी, उनके velocities बढ़ जाएंगे, thermal velocities बढ़ जाएंगी. Okay, that is वो जल्दी move करने लगेगा ना. अब वो जल्दी move करेगा तो जल्दी collide भी तो होगा ना. अगर जल्दी collide होगा, that means what that means? That means the relaxation time is go low down. जल्दी भी कोलैड कर रहा है, ज्यादा टाइम नहीं मिल रहा है उसको फ्री मूव करने में. सो टाउ इज इनवर्सली प्रोपोर्शनल टू टेम्परेचर. ओके, सो इफ आई इंक्रीज द टेम्परेचर, टाउ विल डिक्रीज. यू अंडरस्टैंड? आर दे रिमेंबर दिस कंडीशन और रिमेंबर प्रैक्टिकली. मैं टेम्परेचर बढ़ाऊंगा, इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को काइनेटिक एनर्जी मिलेगा, वो जल्दी मूव करेगा, जल्दी कोलैड करेगा. तो रिलैक्सेशन टाइम, द फ्री टाइम लोज डाउन. ओके, टाउ इज इनवर्सली प्रोपोर्शनल टू टेम्परेचर. अंडरस्टैंड? नाउ if I talk about this drift velocity value, this drift velocity value is 10 to power minus 14 meter per second. I forgot these values are 10 to power minus 4 meter per second या 14 meter. I think 10 to power minus 4 meter per second is weight class. नहीं, 10 to power minus 4 meter per second is the drift velocity expression value. Okay, and tau value is 10 to power minus 14 seconds. These values you have to remember. Drift velocity 10 to minus 4 meter per second and tau is 10 to minus 14 seconds. Okay, these are from some generalized values for a conductor. After experimental they got. So you have to remember these values, which will help you later on when you go to the entrance or some conceptual questions. Okay, now we understand how we use in conceptual problem. For conceptual problem and numericals, we don't use this minus sign. Minus sign is only one significance we have discussed. We understand what is tau. Okay, we understand the value of drift velocity. We understand the value of tau also. Okay, now try to understand very nicely. Later part is very important. Okay, that is conceptual problem basics. You will definitely face a question in your boards on drift velocities, and these are quite interesting. Okay, try to understand very nicely. Very interesting and very hardcore thing is there. Okay, there are many conceptual questions we face from drift velocities. See, what is conceptual? What is drift velocity? E(m) by tau. This is the formula. Sorry, tau by m. What's wrong with me? Tau by m. From there, what we can see, drift velocity depends on electric field. Drift velocity depends on that. How depends? Proportional. Drift velocity depends on tau. Rest mass and electron. These are the mass of electron is fixed. Charge of electron is fixed. So electric E and tau. So what we can see only two factors from here. It depends on electric field. Electric field बढ़ाऊंगा, drift velocity बढ़ेगा. Okay. Relaxation time बढ़ाऊंगा, drift velocity बढ़ेगा. Now, relaxation time थोड़ी बढ़ा सकता हूँ. मैं तो टेम्परेचर के साथ प्रैक्टिकल है. कैन वी गो इनसाइड एंड मूव द इलेक्ट्रॉन्स फास्ट? नो. इन प्रैक्टिकली वी कैन गिव टेम्परेचर. ओके, दैट मीन्स what from here what we can see, since tau is inversely proportional to temperature, that means drift velocity is inversely proportional to temperature. If I increase the temperature, tau will decrease, hence drift velocity will happen. If I increase the temperature, tau will decrease, hence drift velocity will also decrease. Okay, so this is the actual relation you need to understand. Direct इसको रट्टा मत मानना. From the expression we can see drift velocity is proportional to tau. Okay, class. And from here we know tau is inversely proportional to temperature. Temperature बढ़ाऊंगा तो relaxation time घटेगा. अगर relaxation time घटेगा तो drift velocity भी घटेगा. Okay. Next factor we cannot see in the expression. So we have to derive it. How come? See here. This is very important. Where the students forget. What is electric field? Electric field is across these 2 points, across the conductor. Let L is the length of the conductor. Okay, and V is the potential difference across the conductor. So we know ना, across any two point electric field is dV by dr. पढ़ा है ना हमने कैपेसिटेंस चैप्टर में. Okay, potential chapter में electric field across 2 points is equal to potential difference across those 2 points by length of the across that point. So if you apply this formula here, okay, तो क्या हो जाएगा? E tau by m in the place of E. What is the potential difference V? What is the length L? This E is what? E is the electric field across the conductor. So what is the V? V is the potential difference across the conductor, and the distance across the conductor is what? Length. So V by L. So from there we got one more thing. The drift velocity is proportional to potential difference, and drift velocity is inversely proportional to the length. So there are all these factors which we require to understand. Sometimes in numericals they ask only about electric field. तो तब तुम्हें ये लिखने का जरूरत नहीं है. But sometimes they ask you about length. How change with length? तो तब तो तुम्हें यहाँ तक derive करना पड़ेगा ना. So sometimes we work with only this much. Sometimes according to question we need this also. So depends on question to questions. Okay? You understood everything? How we got from here to here? Us? Is it crystal clear? Okay. That's all for this video. This video already crossed 30 minutes now. Okay. Thank you very much. Let's go to the next video.